Okay. Um, Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session hosted by APU Philosophy Department. I'm Prakhar Manas. I'm Assistant Professor at APU. I teach philosophy. And Juliana, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Juliana Lima. I also teach philosophy at APU, and that's it.
So, also with us are two of our colleagues, Aditi and Nishok. They would be looking at the comments, and if there are any queries that you have, they will answer you. So basically, what are we doing here today? Well, we are going to present you like kind of a basic philosophy class, kind of a puzzle in which we are going to explore some problems about personal identity. So, before I ask you the question about personal identity, of course, you have seen the topic that was posted, the posters that were posted. It says that, are you the same person as you were when you were a child? But to get to that, let's start with a very basic experiment. And for that, I've got my Legos. I've just dug them out after years and years, and here they are. So, this is our Lego spaceship. As you can see, it's quite battered, it's quite old, and well, the spaceship is going on a mission, and well, here it goes on a mission. Now it's back, and we find out, oh, something's broken. This wing is not working. So we take it out and we replace it with a brand new wing. Well, that's good. The same thing happens. It goes on a mission, comes back. This wing is not working. We take it out, we put a new one in. The next time it goes on a mission, it just turns out, well, the cockpit is broken. Taken it out, put a new one in. Well, off to the mission again. Well, here it goes. And it's back. The engine is not working. Oh, we'll have to remove the engine, put a new one in. And here it goes on a final mission, and it's back again. This wing is not working. We take it out. A new wing is in. Now, here's a question for you. Is this the same spaceship as the one that we started with? Nearly like trips before, 5 trips ago? Is this the same ship? We have taken all the parts of it, replaced them with new parts, but is this the same ship? You can type your answers in the chat, whatever your intuition is about it. If you think it's the same ship, you can type it's the same ship. Okay, so Amartya here says it's the same ship, just with repairs. Repairs made in the same image of the original components over time. Uh, Bhuvaneshwari says no. Okay, so Amartya, here's a question for you. I took all the parts of the ship that were broken, not repaired, that I'd replaced. I put them all together. Now, you have to tell me which one of these two is the original ship. If you said that, well, the ship was the same with the parts removed and repaired, then where did this ship come from? Well, we have two ships now. So, which is the original ship?
There are some interesting answers here on the chat. One of them says that it's a lifeless object, so the commenter would say that it's not the same ship.
It's a lifeless object, so it would not be the same ship.
Yes, but then there is this other comment that says that it's the same soul, but parts separate. Is
Okay,
this?
that is interesting.
I know, right?
Yeah. So, do you think? So, here's the question: is there something about this ship that is, we can say, essential to remain the same over time for the ship to be the same? Is there? Does anyone have a kind of intuition which says that, wait, there's something about a ship that should be the same for, should persist over time for the ship to be called the same ship? No? Okay, so I might say it is the engine of the ship. Well, if the work the original ship remains in our memory a permanent object. New ship is made in the image of the original ship. So the identity of the new ship and the original ship come from a same source point. Okay, interesting. Uh, Maybe the core part, like engines, etc. Individual perception. A person who has had different experience on the ship would consider it same. Okay, so let's pick it one by one. So I'll start with the idea that, oh, it might be something like an engine that makes the ship the same. And let's call that idea functionalism, or the idea that there's some function of the ship till it's performing that it will remain the same. And even more than that, you can call it some kind of essentialism. There's some essential quality of the ship that needs to remain, or to remain unchanged for it to be the same ship, right? But basically, I don't know if that argument works, right? I mean, the ship is performing the same function, even with a new engine. So it seems counterintuitive to say that something cannot be replaced, or if it is replaced, it becomes the different thing, right? So Sidhu is saying if all parts have been replaced, it's a new ship. If either half of the parts belong to the previous ship, it is the same ship. So is that where you think when all the parts are replaced, that is the only time it becomes a new ship? That is interesting. Does anyone agree with Sidhu here? But let's explore the idea of something being essential again. Someone had here said that it's the same soul. It's the same soul, but the parts have changed. And this is the question of personal identity then. If we move to things like human beings, we know physically that all our parts are replaced over time, to the extent that in 7 years, uh, it is said that every cell in our body has been replaced from like what it would have been 7 years ago, and that includes everything like brain cells, cells in your skin, everything. So, can we say that we are the same person that we were 7 years ago before all our parts have been replaced? So, Sidhu, when you said that as soon as all the parts have been replaced, it stops being the same ship. So, is it like in 7 years we stop being the same person that we were 7 years ago? Yes, Amartya, that is a good question. What happens when we replace some of our body parts with something else, right? Oh, Aditi has asked Advait a question. How can something be new and not different? Can you give another example of of such a thing? I'm sorry, I might have missed Advait's.
So it says that it's a new ship, but not a different ship.
Oh, that is interesting. Yes, Advait, can you give another example of something that can be new but not different? Arushi, we are not lifeless though. We could say we have soul, but a ship doesn't. It has a heart at best, the engine. So this question of soul comes up. Do you think that is what essentially is required for someone to be human? Ooh, another good one. Our memories and consciousness remain the same. So I would perceive myself the same way I did 7 years ago. So I'm the same person with some changes. That is very interesting. Um, that is very interesting. Here's a question for you, though. What if you lose your memories? Do you cease to be the person that you were? And people do lose their memories. Are they then not the same person?
How can you lose your memory? Like,
Well,
how can a person lose their memory?
people do lose their memories, right? Like amnesia is a thing. People do lose their memories. People can even lose their consciousness. They can go into a vegetative state. People can be even brain dead. But do we say they stop being the same person? We become new person to world from our side? Can you elaborate on that, Sidhu? Oh, interesting. My actions remain the same, and I would have to take its responsibility, though I don't remember. Well, can you make me someone who doesn't remember their actions take responsibility for it? I mean, we are deviating from the topic, but let's say I did something wrong to you, but I don't remember. Can you force me to take responsibility for it? I mean, you can make me say sorry if you push me hard enough, but have I taken responsibility for it then?
So there is one comment here. Divya says that I think that every time a part of the ship is replaced, it's new as it starts to work better. So whenever you replace a part of the ship, then you have a new ship. Does that make
Let's say,
sense to you, Prakar?
let's say my knee doesn't work and I get a surgery done in which they put like that one of those robotic knees. Now it can perform better. Again, do I become a different person?
A new person, because now you can perform better, you can run better.
Yeah, I can run better. I mean, my function can change. I can probably become an ace runner. But does that mean I'm a new person? You can upgrade even on the ship, right? Maybe the engine, you've got a new engine. And does that make it a new ship then?
Yeah, probably not, I guess.
Let's see what people think. So, Abbas says you're always changing. You can be held responsible for what you were a while ago, but it would be wrong to say that you are the same person. But I mean, my question here is that is there any essential idea that remains the same, a persistence through time? So you can, at discrete instances, like divide the human life into discrete instances, a second, whatever you want. But how do we know that the person doesn't change from each second to another second? And you might say that it might be something like memory or a stream of consciousness. But let's say this is the second before which I suddenly was hit in my head and hit on my head and I got amnesia. But does that mean that as soon as that property goes away, I stop being a person, the same person?
So Priyanka is answering your question. They
Well,
say some dimensions or aspects of us changes, keeping the others the same. So in a way, some part of us is new, but that doesn't make us a completely different person.
that
The
is interesting.
basics remain the same. Sidu is saying.
Thoughts of human. Yeah, but I can, like, when you say thoughts of human, do you mean like my ideas, my like what I think about different things, or my thoughts about my past, a continuation of the ideas that I have? Um, is that something that we are talking about, in the sense that we will continue to remain the same person because we have a stream of consciousness? Aditi is still struggling with that idea of new but not different. Oh, Amartya says our genetics remains the same, although we change over time. So something we inherit is what remains constant over time. Could it be so? Well, it's interesting, right? So let's try to think about genetics for a bit, right? Like if I clone you, first of all, there's no. So you might know about this, right? So they when they clone Dolly, the first sheep, the sheep that was the clone didn't look much like Dolly, right? And the reason for that is that development, in case of genetics, when the development factors come in, it changes how genes are expressed. I'm just be obsessing over it because I do philosophy of biology as well. So it seems that even with genes, you can't ensure that even if you clone yourself, that the same person will come out, right? Or even exactly the same looking person. So it seems that answer also fails. That there's something about genes that makes us who we are. Because we all know there's something about nature and nurture, right? We are not just a product of our genes, but also of our environment and how it is done, how it basically forces the genes to express themselves, right? Oh, I like this one. We exist in collective memory. Collective memory of whom? Like the people we knew. But would that mean if the people we knew their memory goes away, then we are dead? Oh, wait, where's Arushi's idea? What I mean is, it's connected that gives you somebody who witnesses your existence. Oh, nice. So basically, we move from a personal idea to a social idea, a construct that we have from the outside. People who know us, who have interacted with us, they are the people who give us our identity. But have you never felt that people don't know you? You have a personal life and a social life that is different. Can you say that people know you, people you interact with? Let's forget that. Like, do you think your parents know you, who might have interacted with you the most? Your parents, your siblings. Is your identity in the view of how they perceive you? Arushi, yes, that is said. I mean, a lot of things are said, though. But yeah, I mean, so keeping people can be kept alive or be remembered in every person, like in different memories. It can be books, it can be anything that they've produced. But again, is that synonymous with your personal identity? Is that the same as your personal identity? Right? It is one thing that people are represented in different people's memories in books or anything in certain way, but is that your personal identity? So has anyone seen either like Citizen Kane or Sardari Begum? Because that's an interesting case study on this, right? So here's the basic premise. This person dies, and then a reporter is trying to understand their life. So they go and talk to like a lot of people in their life, and everyone has a different perspective on them. Everyone knows them in a very different way. To someone, their mother, someone they were like, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But no one has a complete picture of that person. That is because they have interacted with them in a very different way. So the social outlook that we have, or the social, how we present ourselves socially, might not sometimes map onto exactly how we identify personally, how we think of ourselves as personally. So wait, Arushi, you Yeah, that shows the different social roles one performs. But the idea was that was presented was that we are represented in the social, like through our social identity, and it seems that we are not. We perform different social roles, right? And therefore, it doesn't seem that our personal identity is the same as the social identity that we that we present that we have in different groups in front of different people, right? Yeah, Priyanka is correct. Our identity in eyes of others is subject to even their perception. We might meet, I mean, hasn't it happened to you that you've met people who might have had one kind of opinion of you because things might have been different? They might have been going through something, you might have been going through something, and that changes. But they are not privy to your own personal thoughts. They are only privy to what you present to them, right? And that can also change when things are different. So it doesn't seem that social identity is a very good indicator for our sorry, of our personal identity. I really like Abbas's comment saying uh, that personal identity is extremely malleable. I don't think there can be an objective definition of it. Do you think, I mean, we might go into some other territories of philosophy through this. What do you mean by objective definition? That is what I want to explore here.
Can I just say one thing that I understood from that?
Yeah,
Because maybe, maybe there are different interpretations of that. So I was thinking that we've been presented with so different ways of understanding personal identity, of what makes you the same person that you were when you were 7 years old. So we've had ideas of things like there is some sort of we have like the same parts, and so there is some sort of like body continuity. And then we've been presented with the idea that
right.
maybe it's like some sort of unity in this stream of consciousness. That was something that somebody else also said. And then there was this other idea that it was like this sort of memory link. So if you remember something that happened to you when you were 7 years old, so then that makes it so that the person that you are now is the same person as you were before when you were 7 years old. So what if, and then we also saw that there were like problems with all of those ideas. So the way that I understood Abbas Ali's comment was, what if then, like all those ideas are correct, but in different contexts. So sometimes what makes you the same person is as the person before is because you remember. Sometimes is because there is some sort of continuity in your stream of consciousness. Sometimes it's just because you have the same parts. So what about that?
Yeah, that is that. I mean, that is interesting. What it says then is that there's no essential idea to what it means to be a person, right? You can define a person in different ways, but the question still remains, like, how do you perceive yourself as a person, right? So does your, I mean, okay, I understand that when you're doing this, that you can define it in different ways and sometimes it's different, but does that happen to you as well? That when you are trying to think about your personhood, do you rely on these different measures? It seems you would rely on one measure more than others, right? I
Not
sometimes,
sure.
hmm?
Which one do you think you would rely the most, Prakash?
The psychological factor, right? That I can remember what I did years ago. But then I realized that no, maybe not, because I don't remember a lot of stuff. And I don't know that do I then go into being like, oh, but I'm the same person because, well, I can see the continuity, a body continuity or not. Do you generally associate yourself as the same person because of body continuity?
You're asking me?
Hmm? Yeah, yeah,
You're
you, yeah,
asking me?
yeah.
I think, I don't know. I don't know if I have a very specific answer to this question. I think that, I don't know. I don't have a particular view. I am open to being convinced one way or the other. I think that all of those theories they have a bunch of different problems that I think are important problems. Um,
Yeah.
so,
Did,
but I don't know.
but did you know there's another debate going on in the chat about objectivity between
Yes,
Harushi
yes,
and.
maybe we can get into that.
So, if anyone wants to follow through, Harushi has said objectivity doesn't exist, seem to exist. The only objectivity we can come across is the most accepted, most observable subjective concept. And Aditi seems to disagree with it. So, Ayushi, what do you mean by could I perceive myself as a puzzle?
Maybe like as a person constituted with different parts, like pieces, like a personal opinions, body parts, soul, mind, social role.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, it would be closer to your idea,
Yeah.
Julia, I'm guessing. Yeah. Uh, So, Aditi, I have this mango tree in my house, and when I see the flower become a fruit, I know it's still the same, even though it looks different. Yes. Okay, so how do you? Okay, one way you can talk about this is also to observe how do you perceive the continuity of another person. So don't think about yourself, but how do you perceive the continuity of another person? How do you know your friend is the same person as they were when you first met them, let's say when you were 7? I'm guessing there has been good 10 years between that.
I mean,
So,
you ask questions.
huh?
You ask questions, right? I ask like, "Oh, were you my friend that I used to play with you?"
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do you remember when the time we went to play in the park or something like that? Is that like then you constantly the question is like, oh, you're questioning your friend to make sure they are your friend
Yes.
because you're scared that some like ghost or ghoul might have replaced them. So you have to constantly every day ask them, oh, do you remember the time when we like hit the ball so hard that it broke the crazy neighbor's window, and then he chased us around.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it depends. So if my friend is looks like how he was 10 years ago, then I can immediately recognize. If not, then I need to talk with them and see if we have the same memories.
So you're basing it on memory criteria. Then I just wanted to say,
I
Advait
think
said,
so.
Advait said, if you could transfer memories to another person and they remember your life, does it mean that they are the same person? Good question, Advait. And that is how we complicate the problem even further. So I take your brain, I put it in someone else's body. Who is the person who is you now after this brain transplant?
Does
Could
it have to be a you though?
huh?
But does it have to be a you though?
Well, I'm just saying. Well, okay. I took person A's brain and put it in person B's body, and now who is person A?
Okay, so what are the options here?
Well, the
Let's
options
see.
are that. Okay, let's see what people think.
Yeah.
I'm glad you added clarified that, Harushi. But no, you could be living in a simulation. You never know. Matrix might be. I mean, is Matrix a dated reference now, or do people know what Matrix is?
I don't think so.
Okay, back to the previous question. Who is person A now once the brain has been transferred from uh, from person A's body to person B's body? Who is person A now? The one with the person A's brain or one with the person A's body? I'm glad to know Matrix will always be relevant.
Ah. Okay, so let's see. What are the options here?
Okay,
So,
so Advait wants to clarify, and which is, I think, a good clarification. Let's say it's not the brain because that would constitute a physical body part, but there's a machine that takes the memories of person A and transfers it into memories of or into the body of person B. Just the memories, not the any physical part. And that is a very good point to raise. Then who becomes person A?
so let's say I have all your memories, Prakar,
Yeah, yeah,
and you have all my memories.
yeah.
So now who is Prakar and who is Juliana?
Juliana, yeah. Tell me.
The option is I am still Juliana because I have the same body as I had before the transfer. Or and you are Prakar because you have the same body. And or else it could be that I am Prakar because I have your memories, and then Aditi is asking a clarification question. No, sorry, Abhiraj is saying only memories or even the consciousness too. That's a good question. Let's make it very
Let's
uh,
say the what we can call the mind has been transferred without transferring the
yes,
brain.
everything
Yes.
then. So all the likes and dislikes,
Yeah.
all
All
the
the
beliefs, preferences, and
everything.
everything. Everything. Okay. I think that let me see. If I have your mind, Prakar, then
Yeah.
I think I'm you.
Then you think you're me?
I am you. I
I
mean,
mean,
how wouldn't I be? Who else could I be?
well, you have the body of Juliana.
Yeah, but I have all your
People
memories.
will still, well, we are trying to figure that out, right? So you had said earlier that, well, we sometimes perceive ourselves as our like psychological as a continuation of our psychology or body continuity or social continuity. So okay, Aditi is just saying Juliana is an amazing knitter. If Prakar's
I
brain is in,
am, by the way.
yeah, will that, yes, that is
That's a very good question.
but
Who would be able to knit?
Aditi will have to do it actually because I know nothing about knitting. So yeah, but yeah. So when you were saying those three things, like either psychological continuity or body continuity or social continuity, well, people will still perceive you as Juliana. Well, still perceive. Okay, now the minds are transferred, so still perceive the person with Prakhar's mind as Juliana till um, till they have any better reason to know. Uh, Bodily, you are the person will still be considered as Juliana. It would only be through the psychological continuity which has been that you will say that, oh, this person is Prakhar. So do we have an answer? Why Aditi, why do you want me to, like, want my body to knit?
Because you have my memory and you have my mind and you have my mental ability.
But,
So
but,
shouldn't you
but
be able to knit?
Aditi is saying we should get a, like, brain switching machine ready then. So it means that she really wants that my these fingers do some knitting for some reason. I don't know why, but Aditi really wants that. Transferring the copy of a memory, will it work? Well, yes, I mean, that will come across as the same question. If I copy my memories and put them in Juliana's mind, well, and remove Juliana's memories as well, right? I mean, otherwise, would it be like two people living in one body if both our memories are in the same body?
That's weird. Multiple
Yeah.
personality here.
Do we need to come to a conclusion, or can we leave it alone for it to be answered by future philosophers? When do we know for sure that we aren't well equipped to answer a question?
So before we try to, well, before we go to this very nihilist sort of perspective, what about advice suggestion here? If you perceive person as a consciousness, then
Yes.
both A and B are different. Okay, that's true. If you
Yeah.
consider it as a body, then they are both the same. True. If you consider it as both, then they are actually two new people. I
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
I like that. So
Could be. So,
maybe we just create. So we destroyed Prokhor and Juliana, and now we have, uh, I don't know, Prokhor. I don't know what's the name that you wanted to have that you don't have Prokhor.
don't have Prakhar in it.
Yeah. So
I
because now you're a new person, we
mean,
destroyed Juliana and Prokhor. We need new
literally any
names.
other name. Literally any other name would do, right?
Literally any other name.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, give me a name.
You a name.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to say Julie, but that would be too close, right?
Yeah.
Prakhana and Julianar. Okay.
Julian,
Jukhar.
Julianar, and
Okay, maybe Jukhar. Okay,
and
that is
Prana.
okay. Prakhar Lima and Juliana Manas. Well, that
Yes.
doesn't sound right. Um,
So we then have so we die if we transfer our memories. Okay, I like
so
that idea. I kind of like that.
so we have created
Prakan.
two new people who are like, and we are dead.
Yes, we're that.
You were saying we are not going to explore the nihilist answer here.
Well, before I said before we can be nihilists. That's fine. But before I kind of like that idea. So
Okay,
we
so
destroyed. Yeah,
we who agrees that we have created two new people by doing that?
just say yeah I in the chat.
Thank you, uh, Abhiraj. That was the next question I was going to ask. What happens if we switch people back? Then have you reanimated us back from the dead? Because we died, right? Then, like, you switch it back. Good
So
question,
if
Abhiraj.
we yeah, I like that. If you switch it back,
Have
then
you
yeah,
reanimated to dead people?
yes, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. So it's the mind that is matching with the body. Oh, wait. There is a good comment here by Coven. So some people with newly added memories.
So yeah, the
So
memories that we
yeah, that's the
wait, but
thing.
no, you can do it instantly, right? Like, so, for example, we switch minds and then we suddenly switch minds again. That means two people were created and they died instantly, right? Without, before anyone
Yeah.
can gain any memories. We'll come to the more complicated question later. So we switch and then we switch again. So two people died, two people were created, those two people died, and the two people who had died came back to life.
Okay, wait, that maybe that doesn't make much sense. Because
So we switched. When we switched, you and I ceased to exist, and two new people were born, which were like with Prakhar's body and Juliana's mind, and Juliana's body and Prakhar's mind, and then we switched again instantly. Now these two new people who were created ceased to exist, and the two people who had ceased to exist, Prakhar and Juliana, come back to life.
so, yeah, I'm thinking here. I don't know, which one do you
Can you be
think
tried?
makes more sense?
Can you be tried for murder then?
I mean, wow, okay. It depends on
So
how we made the switch, I think. Also,
Abhiraj
you
said, but consciousness never went out of existence, so you were never dead. But would that mean that, as Aditi said, you are consciousness? You are your consciousness. And the question that was asked again, so let's say we spend some time. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's wait for people to answer. Keep forgetting. See, it seems we are coming back to the idea of psychological continuity.
apparently that's a very strong opinion. Most people seem to have that intuition that what makes us the same person that we were when we were 7 years old is because we have a stream of consciousness or some sort of memory link, something like that.
So, if new experiences constitute a change in person, then it's two more newer, different people. So now, wait, sorry, there are six different people. Wait, sorry, I didn't get that. If we keep away the concept of soul, then it will be possible. Although you dying or not dying isn't about your perception, right? Wouldn't you be alive when, even if you got amnesia? Yes, Amartya, that is the Star Trek problem. Uh, that when you are teleported from one place to another, do you die every time? Persons have different opinions, which does not need to be like others. So why not jump to conclusion? Well, what is the conclusion? That is the question here.
So maybe now we can be a little bit nihilists and
Yes, we
say,
can explore the nihilist option.
yeah.
Yeah. And what was the nihilist option, Juliana?
Oh, the one that I called nihilist option was I don't remember who, but somebody who said like, can we just postpone this question and let other people in this
Or
group?
let other philosophers figure it out. Well,
Yeah,
weirdly, we have been doing that for quite some time, right?
yeah, we are kind of the future philosophers, aren't
Yeah.
I?
Yeah. So Aditi likes the Star Trek question. Aditi, what are your thoughts on it then? Let's hear from another philosopher what they think about what they think about the Star Trek question here. Do you think that we die every time, like people died in the Star Trek every time they were teleported? but even if you're saying that the soul persists, you are saying it persists after dying. So the dying is still a concept, even if you're talking about soul, right? That is when it gets transferred to the new body. So why would dying be a construct that we have made? Oh yeah, okay. So Aditi is replying to the uh, transporter problem. Okay, I don't want to get into the problem of the scriptures, but my point just was that we can still talk about dying according to scriptures. There is a conception of dying. Okay, I'm not going to go into the scriptures talk, but let's talk about the transporter problem if we want for a bit. Okay, I'm going to end this with a simple idea. If you think you agree more with the psychological continuation, that you are your memories, then say PC, psychological continuation. If you think there's something about body that makes us who we are and it is the continuity of the body, say BC. And if you think that it is none of them or both of them, just say PC.
I guess most things that PC makes sense. So
Sorry?
I guess most people are saying PC here. Psychological
Yeah.
continuation.
Okay. And the people who said PC, well, I don't know if you're correct or not. Sorry. Uh, this is this is what we sometimes in philosophy, like we started with a thought experiment. It's a problem that different people have different ideas for, and this has just been an example of how we do philosophy. Uh, well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Amartya. Uh, but I hope you enjoyed this because I think you might have thought about things. Well, also don't get the idea that nothing in philosophy turns out to be, one way or the other. It's that some questions can have many different answers, many different ways of thinking about it. And if you like what we did and want to know more about us, then please ask us anything about our program at APU, what we do, what kind of courses we offer. You can ask us what we do personally, like what our research interests, what kind of philosophies we are interested in, and Aditi and Nishok, who are also here, and they will also love to answer your question, right? Aditi is correct. It takes more than 45 minutes. Definitely much more than 45 minutes. Please, if you have any questions about the program or anything at all, please send it our way on the chat.
We have a question here. Are there any prerequisite readings that I should complete before classes begin? I like to be well read and prepared. Welcome, Amartya.
Um,
No, there isn't anything that you need to read. You should just enjoy your summer, relax, get everything ready for you to come to campus, and that's it. No prerequisite readings. I do recommend you just like reading for fun if you find it fun, because I find it fun, and so that's what I'm doing when I'm not doing philosophy. But other than that, you're gonna be fine.
we, we are really looking forward to having you here, Matya. Yes, Aditi is correct. Just ask questions.
Okay, another question here. Do we get to read about?
Indian philosophies.
Yes, sorry, the chat keeps moving here.
Yeah. Do
Yes.
we,
Yeah, go ahead, Prabha.
sorry, Juliana, do you want to talk about the Indian philosophy? Um, Aditi, you might be a better person to answer this. So the point is that there's no dedicated course for Indian philosophy, if that is what you're asking. But I mean, see, so Indian philosophy also has many traditions. So we do consider thought like Indian thoughts in when we are dealing with, like, say, ethics, or we are dealing with things about different subjects, aesthetics. We do deal with Indian philosophies in that way, but there's no set course for, like, hey, this is one whole semester of studying just Indian philosophy. So we don't do it that way, but we do take Indian thought into account when we are discussing different things.
There is this other question. What would be in the syllabus?
Oh,
Um, yes, go ahead,
so,
Prabha.
do you mean like the bigger topics? So, for example, in the first year, you'll start with some basics about philosophy, for a course that we call Intro to Philosophy. That would be about basic normativity and causation. We'll be doing ethics in the first year. We have a logic course in paradoxes. Paradoxes are things which seem to give counterintuitive answers. And Juliana's taking that course. It's an amazing course. And There's political philosophy, there's philosophy of art, there is philosophy of law, um,
Philosophy of
tell me when-
religion.
philosophy of religion. So there's a wide variety of courses. Plus, you can do an honors dissertation. So you can take 1 year to write on any topic that you want to with us as your supervisors. Plus, I think Aditi can share the link to the microsite. Amatis, we'll have to check that with the library, but I'm pretty sure you can find some Nietzsche in the library. Otherwise, we can place orders for it. That is not a worry at all. Is there a major minor option in the university? I'm not sure about that.
Major,
So
minor, what, in philosophy or in other
major,
courses?
major in one thing and minor in another thing.
Ah, no, I don't know. I mean, you can take courses in other disciplines, in other
Yeah, you have,
yes, in other disciplines.
so you have elective courses in other disciplines, but there's no minor, major minor thing in the university right now. Career in philosophy. Well, that's an interesting one. Well, if you see, basically the skills that we try to impart are conducive to many careers, right? So generally, people who get out of here go into a lot of social work because the university's outlook is that. But you can think about going into policy. You can go think about going into journalism. You can think about going into, I mean, something to do with even law because we are doing philosophy of law. Art criticism, there's a lot of different options that you can go for. Philosophy basically enables you to think systematically about questions, and that is a useful skill in many, many places. Rather, most of our like previous students have gone on to various different fields. So yeah, there's no limit to it, and if you are interested in it, you can pursue it further and maybe become go into academia, right? Okay, just out of curiosity, is blasphemy right? Well, if you want to find that out, you'll have to come here. Aditi is teaching a course in philosophy of religion. You can ask her that question. Yeah, Rajgopal is just saying there's no major minor option. About the common WhatsApp group for philosophy students and aspirants, I'm not sure if there is anything in the works like that at all. I think you should um, contact the admissions officer if you want to get in touch with other people who have accepted the offer.
So there's a question: can psychology be linked to philosophy? That's
There
one
are
question.
fusion. Yeah, there is a whole philosophy of psychology. There's a philosophy of mind. There's a lot of stuff. Rather, we have a person right now, Sachit, who works in philosophy of psychology of mind itself. So yeah, I mean, those are things that we can uh, talk about. I mean, you can explore your options very much. Oh yeah, Juliana also does philosophy of mind. I'm sorry. I always use philosophy of action because that's what I've talked to you about. I'm really sorry. Yes. Juliana works in philosophy of mind. She's amazing, as you have seen already. Hmm.
Wait, there is another. Can it be done with maths? I don't understand this question.
Do you mean if you can do major minor thing?
Ah,
No. But if you can do philosophy of maths, yes, obviously. That is again something that people here can help you explore. Are there any other info on other courses at APU? Well, yes, you can go at the on the website and find out more about that. Every course has its own page there. Um, Lakan, there is no major minor here. You can do some courses in maths probably, but you can't do it together as a major minor or like, have a degree in both of them in some way. So you will have to either have to enroll with the philosophy in the philosophy BA or BSc maths. There is no combined course for that. But yes, if you come here, as Aditi is saying, we have a lot of combined activities together. So Aditi is going to do a session with the Maths Club about what are numbers, basically exploring both mathematically and philosophically what numbers are. I'm sorry, Anupriya, that is something that we can't help with. I mean, that is something that you should talk uh, to the admissions team about. But anyways, this has been really good. We hope to see you as soon as possible. But do enjoy your summers. Don't worry about what do I need to study. Well, you've just finished your board exams. Just relax, enjoy your summer, and we'll see you in August. Uh, and all the best for the exams, those who are sitting for the entrance exam. And hope to see as many of you as possible. Okay,
thank you, everybody. This was super fun. Bye bye.
bye.